What happens when Yeti Bob and his friends decide to host a carnival to bring humans and cryptids together? This is the story of the Cryptid Carnival, a night of laughter, chaos, and a lesson in family that no one will forget. The town was buzzing with excitement. The children tugged on sleeves, begging for something new, something big, something fun. Bob sat quietly in the square, Fox curled at his feet, listening to the chatter. Then his eyes twinkled like lanterns in the dark. "What if we invite the cryptids to play?" he rumbled. Gasps. The parents froze. Cryptids? In the open? Some shook their heads. Others whispered nervously. But the children's cheers drowned out every doubt. The fox barked, wagging furiously. And so the plan was set. A carnival, right on the edge of the forest, where humans and cryptids could share laughter instead of fear. Bob worked side by side with townsfolk and cryptids alike. The winged ones soared between treetops, stringing glowing lanterns that turned the forest canopy into a twinkling wonderland. The mimic chirped happily as it carried tools and ropes, though sometimes it mimicked voices so perfectly that parents spun in circles, wondering who had called their name. The mist guardian rolled fog across half-finished booths to hide mistakes, then lifted it dramatically to reveal sparkling surprises. And Bob? Bob built the biggest carnival game of all, a towering ring toss made from barrels and tree stumps. It was perfect for giant paws and tiny hands alike. By sundown, the carnival was ready. Lanterns glowed like stars. Booths were stacked with prizes. Fiddles and drums echoed across the trees. The children squealed, tugging their parents forward. The parents whispered nervously. And in the shadows, the cryptids waited. Then, Bob swung the gates open wide. At first it was awkward. Parents hovered like guards. Cryptids shuffled nervously, claws and wings tucked close. Children stared, unsure if it was safe. Then the mimic broke the silence. It waddled onto the stage and mimicked Bob's deep rumble, except it came out squeaky, like a chipmunk trying to roar. The children howled with laughter. Even the sternest parents cracked smiles. Soon the ice was gone. The winged one painted the rides in streaks of colored light, swooping like fireworks across the sky. The mist guardian turned hide-and-seek into a magical game, fog swallowing children whole before releasing them with surprise giggles. The fox darted through an obstacle course, children chasing after it until they tumbled joyfully into haystacks. And Bob played every game with his giant paws. He dropped 3 pies at once, tossed rings that knocked over entire booths, and accidentally won the biggest prizes without even trying. The carnival was chaos. Beautiful, wholesome chaos. But not everyone was laughing. At the edge of the forest, a rival cryptid hunter scowled, his eyes narrow. "A carnival with monsters," he muttered. "Dangerous nonsense." He slipped into the crowd, setting off little disruptions. A lantern cut loose here. A rope snapped there. Parents gasped, pointing at cryptids, fear rising again. But Bob noticed. He lumbered over and, with one careful paw, plucked the hunter out from behind a booth, holding him high like a naughty child caught stealing cookies. "Why ruin joy?" Bob asked softly, his voice more sad than angry. The hunter squirmed, red with embarrassment. "Because they'll never belong here," he spat. "Neither will you." The children shouted back, "Yes, they do. Bob belongs here, and so do his friends." Parents nodded firmly. The hunter froze, realizing, for the first time, he was outnumbered not by monsters, but by love. He stomped away, defeated. And with that, the carnival roared back to life. As the night wound down, lanterns floated into the sky, drifting like glowing wishes. Children clutched stuffed foxes and wooden toys, parents carried sleepy little ones, and cryptids lingered in the soft glow of acceptance. The mayor stood before the crowd, voice warm and proud. "Tonight we learned something important," she said. "Fear fades when families laugh together. And thanks to Bob, we now know humans and cryptids can share more than a forest. We can share a future." The crowd cheered. The cryptids bowed their heads shyly, and Bob's chest swelled with pride, his heart as full as the lantern-lit sky. But even as the cheers rang out, his gaze flicked to the mountains. A faint echo rumbled in the distance, a reminder. The call was not gone. For tonight, though, laughter was enough. Long after the carnival ended, when the lanterns dimmed and the town slept, something stirred in the deep woods. A shadowy figure loomed at the tree line, taller than Bob, broader, its glowing eyes fixed on the town. It did not step forward. Not yet. But a whisper carried on the wind, curling through the trees like smoke. Soon. Bob, sitting on the hill with the fox at his side, felt the chill crawl through his fur. He touched the woven band from his kin, tucked gently into his scarf, glowing faintly like a heartbeat. The mountains were calling, and now something else was watching. The Cryptid Carnival had been a triumph of laughter, chaos, and connection. For one magical night, humans and cryptids danced together as family. But joy and fear are two sides of the same coin, and in the shadows, a new mystery waited to test everything Bob had built. If the Cryptid Carnival made you laugh, cheer, and wonder what's next, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the next adventure is just around the corner.